Hey Raswant, welcome back. Continuing our series on vector database. So today I want you to shed some light on how Lyzr supports Weaviate and some questions that we have on it. I want you to answer that.
Hi, Faraz. Yes, surely. Let's go.
Sure. So can we get started by how do I configure the Weaviate endpoint and API key in Lyzr?
Right. So, when you go to Lyzr Studio and when you head on to data connectors, here is where you'll find the VV8 option. So, one thing about VV8 is that VV8 is just like Quadrant, is hosted by Lyzr. You have a default Lyzr hosted database available for you to get started right away. You don't have to even create your own cluster.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we want to talk about creating our own cluster, this is where we have to head. When we head on to view documentation, this is how you set up your own cluster. The When you see this documentation, you'll get to know how to set this up. And once you set it up, this is how it will look. The
Okay.
cluster details and the connection details are all available here. So basically, this REST endpoint and this admin API key is all that you need. When you head back to Lyzr Studio and when you go to add, you have to give it a name, and the URL and the API key is what we saw here. This is the API key and this is the URL. So it's as simple as copy pasting two keys here to make us the connection ready. So yeah, this is as simple as that.
Got it. So the next question we have is what's the schema structure required in Weaviate for Lyzr Studio to use it effectively?
So when you create your own cluster, there is no particular schema that you want to set up initially. So when you go on to knowledge base and when you try to create your own knowledge base, Uh, here you will find two options. VV8 Lyzr is the one default Lyzr hosted, and you can host your own or connect your own and create a knowledge base for that as well. So when you create a knowledge base with your own hosted vector store, there is no particular schema that you have to define. You can get started with uploading your knowledge base and files to knowledge base, just like how you would do for any other knowledge base.
Hmm. Okay, so on the side note, we have been talking about cluster from the first video, from the very first video about vector database that we made. Do you want to talk about what a cluster is so that non-tech people can understand?
So a cluster is basically your provision of the vector database. So it would mean that that is yours. So when you go into the vector cloud, you will find a cluster that is yours. So you can create multiple clusters. That would mean that you are creating multiple provisions of new databases for your availability. And this is the terminology that we use. That is something that is provisioned to you, is basically a cluster.
Got it. Okay, moving on. Can I use hybrid search with filters in VV8 from within Lyzr?
Right. So when you're trying to search, uh, this is where you pick your retrieval type. There are three types, that is basic, MR, and HYDE, and you can see what each of these is good at.
Hmm.
So when you're trying to retrieve from any knowledge base, regardless of the vector database that you've connected, they all work very similar. It is all based on a keyword, and they all try to extract a vector or vectors that match the query that you're asking. And there are also thresholds that you can specify, and also specify the number of chunks that you want. This is customizable here, and also on the agent studio where you're configuring your agents and attaching your knowledge base.
So, okay. Can I connect a self-hosted VV8 instance?
Yes, as we talked about it currently, this is how, where, and how you'll connect your self-hosted Weaviate. And when you click on this, you will find all the connected databases that you have for VV8. Currently, I have two. One is Lyzr hosted, the other is myself hosted.
Got it. How do I push new documents and embeddings from Lyzr into VV8? Is it
So,
similar to how we did it for Quadrant?
Right. For adding new documents and new text, it's very similar to any other knowledge base. All you have to do is go into the knowledge base and upload. Here you have three file types that you can upload, or a URL that you can, scroll, or a raw text that you can upload that will get chunked. So these are the multiple ways that you can add data to your VV8. All you have to make sure is the knowledge base is connected to VV8.
So coming down to, not like, we can generalize it saying whenever you want to upload any knowledge base on Lyzr AI Studio, it's the same process. We don't have to worry about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Raswan. Thank you for this session. Guys, if you have any more questions about any um, about regarding knowledge base, vector store, or any other tools, please feel free to drop your comments and we'll take that up in the next video. Thank you.
Thank you.